Organizational intelligence is all about understanding the environment people work in, namely the culture, the hierarchy, the incentives, and the systems that shape behavior. It helps us answer one of the most important investigative questions: why did this person think their actions made sense at the time? Instead of focusing only on the incident, organizational intelligence gives us the broader context that explains how misconduct becomes possible. Let's walk through the main areas we look at. First, workplace culture. Culture is the moral compass of the organization. If leadership ignores small infractions or behaves dishonestly, that attitude flows downward and becomes normalized. People start believing that cutting corners or bending rules is acceptable. Culture also affects reporting. In workplaces filled with gossip, rumors, or social politics, victims may stay silent because they fear retaliation or being judged. Sometimes we see groupthink departments where no one questions bad practices because that's just how we do things here. And when employees feel undervalued or mistreated, they may rationalize misconduct as a way to correct unfairness. All of this is powerful intelligence. Next, reporting structures and power dynamics. Formal and informal hierarchies tell us a lot about pressure and influence. A long-term subordinate is unlikely to take high-risk actions unless someone above them encouraged it. We also look at the chain of command to identify conflicts of interest. For example, if an HR investigator reports directly to a leader who is the subject of the complaint, that's a problem. In unionized environments, dynamics become even more complex. Witnesses may hesitate to cooperate because they don't want to be seen as breaking solidarity or ratting out a coworker. Then we examine incentives and motivations. This is where we look at the why behind the behavior. If a company sets impossible performance targets, employees may feel pressured to lie or manipulate numbers just to survive. Reward systems matter too. If bonuses or promotions seem unfair, resentment builds, and resentment is a major risk factor for fraud or sabotage. While some misconduct is driven by personal need, most workplace theft is a crime of opportunity. People convince themselves it's acceptable because everyone does it, or because the culture quietly tolerates it. Finally, we look at systemic factors and internal controls. Investigations often reveal the exact weaknesses an offender exploited: poor oversight, lack of segregation of duties, weak physical security, or gaps in supervision. These failure points help us understand not just what happened, but how it was allowed to happen, and foreseeability matters. If an investigation identifies a systemic risk like poor lighting in a parking lot and the organization ignores it, they may be held negligent if something goes wrong later. Many cases trace back to management gaps where employees are empowered without proper oversight, creating fertile ground for dishonesty. So, organizational intelligence gives us the big picture. It helps us understand culture, power, incentives, and systems, all the forces that shape behavior. When we combine this with human, digital, physical, and open-source intelligence, we get a complete understanding of not just the incident, but the environment that made it possible.